right. Welcome to the show. Squeal like a pig or slap. This is a show about outdoors, fun, ethical shooting, hunting, and eliminating wild hogs. We hope you find the content informative and entertaining. Our show airs on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Tonight was supposed to be our first live show. I did not realize we had to put a little hook in to get the StreamYard to connect to YouTube, but we got that fixed, so we'll be live on YouTube next week. I'm your host, KornHole, and joining me once again is my boy. What's up, Mountain Man?
What's up, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah. You been out in the woods?
Man, I haven't been in the woods.
Yeah.
Not for about 10 days.
Okay. Well, before we get started, you know what we got to do? We got to mention our unofficial sponsors, aka the brands we like today. And I'm gonna say that I really like Mount Olive jalapenos. I just made a hot dog with them on it, and it was delicious. That's my first one. Obviously, we got to go with the old Keystone. Good beer right there. And Mountain Jam, ATN Optics. We're going to talk about those guys tonight. Aero Precision, PFI, our good buddy Willie Puskas, down there at Puskas Firearm Innovations in Richmond Hill. Browning Firearms, Silencer Co., OSS, and Spy Point. Who do you got?
Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Nice.
And Nine Line Apparel, which is a local Savannah brand.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. It's got all kinds of, they support first responders. And there's some really great stuff, man. It's
very
cool.
familiar with those guys.
Yeah. And Savage Arms, of course.
Yeah.
Traditional.
The old trusty.
That's right. And this right here, boy, I ran out, so.
Oh man. Sawyer insect repellent. Interesting.
That's the stuff. Yeah, that's for the permethrin you spray on your clothes. And
yeah. Okay. Well, that's
I got
good.
three ticks on me last time I was in the woods, so it's time.
Yeah. We don't like that.
No,
yeah. So one thing I know, I always talk about this, and let me see if I can get it up. But we started talking about this was the comments, views, and shares, or CVS. And we haven't gotten any new comments. I still can't get over the first comment we got, vomit.wtf. That was pretty funny. And then, old notorious PIG from Squeal Team 6 called me the masturbator on the baiting episode, which was pretty ridiculous. We've had a slight increase in views. I think one of our videos is up to almost 40 views.
Nice.
So that's pretty good. So we're starting to make a little traction. I think it was on trapping, if I'm not mistaken. Trapping and the wild boar. I thought the baiting would get a lot of hits, but the baiting hasn't gotten a lot of hits yet.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs tonight?
I'm a shout out to my dad. I want to trying to get him down here to do some hog hunting. He's the reason I love the outdoors. He's the reason I ever picked up a BB gun and a rifle, and he was always taking me in the woods or fishing, one of the two. So
yeah, I'd like to meet Mountain Senior.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, when he comes down, I'll put him on the show.
There you go. We'll have to do that.
He's got stories for days about.
Oh, I bet.
Hunting.
We might just have to make him a regular on the show. Get him to come in and tell us a good hunting story.
Yeah, he's got some good ones.
That's awesome. My shout out tonight is going to be to Jesse, aka God, what is his? I forget what his pig hunt name is. It's something funny. But he is coming to hunt with us this weekend, and he scored his first pig on the last trip down, and so it's in his blood. And I think his little brother might come. Or maybe it's his older. I think he's the oldest. I think it's his little brother. So we'll get Jesse down here, maybe his brother, and then I got a couple other guys that might come. I doubt they're going to come. Doug's not going to make it. Troy's not going to make it. Willie from right to Richmond Hill is going to make it. So I'm shouting out to all these guys because I can't wait to see them this weekend and get out there and do some hunt. And we got to remember, you and I both got to make some video while we're out there. Just some, B-roll type video footage we can incorporate into an intro commercial or something like that.
Yeah. Is Jesse going to sleep in his car again?
You know him, man. He's kind of funny about that. I'm sleeping at a hotel, so I bet he'll split the cost of two twin beds or whatever and stay in a hotel versus sleeping in his car.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about tonight?
We're talking about optics, buddy. Optics.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. We're going to we're going to give everybody our 2 cents on green lights versus night vision versus thermal, and why you go with what, and kind of the lay of the land, price points on them, the different brands. I've actually got, I got 3 scopes sitting right here. 2 of them are on guns and one's not. So we're gonna pull out some visual aids here in a minute. But what do you hunt with right now today? When your best friend from up north doesn't bring you a gun, what do you hunt with down there?
I hunt with a green light.
There you go.
My Savage 30-06.
Yeah.
Or my son's 350 Legend, one of the two.
Gotcha.
Very basic.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, obviously there's financial that goes behind getting in some of the more advanced optics, but I was just shocked at how many guys in the club were only using green lights when I got in the club.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but they work, right? And they weren't really trying to kill 50 of them in a night. They were just trying to kill a pig. They were going to eat it, or they're just like, hey, I know there's pigs eating all my deer corn. So
I've killed as many hogs as anybody in the club with a green light.
That is a true statement.
They do work.
But you're catching up quickly with thermal.
That's right. And if you came down more often, you would surpass me in the numbers, I'm sure.
Right. I would love to get down there more often. It's just been a crazy year. Like the whole month of, it was either March or April. I didn't even get down there. I think it was March.
Yeah.
I didn't get down there the whole month of March, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, the green light, I'm a fan of the green light for a couple of reasons. One, you can usually get them at, your Bass Pros, your Academies, maybe even Walmart. I don't know, but Dick's Sporting Goods, all those places carry more of probably a basic version of a green light. So if you're going somewhere and you can hit one of these sporting goods stores, and I'm torn. I love Academy's selection, but Bass Pro gives a military discount, which I love to get.
Yeah. Well, here's a good example of somebody that would why a green light works and is handy and convenient is because, for instance, like my brother's coming up here in I don't know, I'm not exactly sure when, but he's planning a trip to come up here to hunt.
Yeah.
And he's not going to invest. He doesn't have the time nor the place to hunt to spend the money on a thermal. So, but he can get a $80 green light, put it on his rifle, and he doesn't have to sit with me. I can go put him in his own stand, and for less than $80. I ordered mine on Amazon for like $59.
Yeah.
So that's you can get out in the woods at night and be very successful with an $80 investment. So.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big plus. Is an easy entry point financially for most of us, right? $80 bucks. It's not a drop in the hat, but honestly, we can. If your light busted, you would drive up Bass Pro and get you another one, and you wouldn't think twice about it.
That's right.
Yeah, and so that's a great thing. I think the second biggest value that I see, like in the green light, is like you talk about your brother coming up or your dad coming to hunt. You can slap that green light on any gun that's sighted in, and you're golden.
That's right.
You don't have to do any extra work. You don't have to go sight it in or anything like that. Or if I buy a night vision scope or a thermal, I got to sight it in. I got to get it right.
That's right.
So the green light definitely has some advantages on obviously the price point, and then you're just mounting it to the top of the scope, right? It just sits on top of it, and
yep, yeah. I mean, you can put it on a Picatinny rail or whatever, but I put mine right on top of my scope because it's just easy. You know, I've got the Savage 110 rifle, so there's not a place to mount it except for on top of the scope.
Right.
And a little thing that I've noticed with it is, if I don't push it far enough forward to where the flashlight part of it's in front of my scope, it messes it up a little bit when I'm looking through it. So I like to have that flashlight out there in front of the end of the scope.
Green light, I think the ease of purchase, acquiring it, the installation, not having to re-sight in your gun, those are all just huge benefits. But I would say probably a limitation is, and we know this, like the terrain that we hunt in most of the areas that we're hunting in right now, you just don't have long shots. So once they get in the woods, that green light just reflects back at you, right?
Yeah, and also, especially summertime, right now where it's heating up, you get any fog at all, and it gets real grainy. You can still see them, but it's that is a downfall. Whereas
we do have a lot of moisture. Yeah, we do have a lot of moisture.
Night vision's the same though. If it's foggy, huh? You don't get a lot of visual with night vision either, do you? When it starts getting high humidity, foggy.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really hunted with mine in really dense fog, so I don't know. But I would think that it would cause some interference.
Yeah. What about when you had Kindness out that one time? We had you set up for that 400-yard shot or whatever, and it got kind of foggy, didn't it? That messed up the long shots, I think.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because actually the night that they put me down there, they ended up moving me somewhere else. So I ended up going back, changing guns. So I didn't actually hunt with Kindness, which is the 338 blew up. But the night before, Rick hunted that road, and the fog came in, and he couldn't see. And he was using what we call native night vision, the analog night vision the clip-ons that go in front of your traditional scope, and I'll show one of those in a minute. Gotcha. But yeah, he said that the fog came in and he couldn't see anything. And so before we get off the green light, I want to let everybody know this, because I didn't know this until you told me this the other day. But the hogs don't see the green light, but they see the shadows.
Yeah, they're super smart. So if you get new hogs, you turn that green light on, they don't even jump. They don't flinch. Right. They just keep doing what they're doing. But when you put the green light on and you've shot at them or shot at one of the ones in their sounder,
right?
They do see something, because there's one sow out here in particular. She's a big girl. She's probably 200 plus pounds. She's very wise, and as soon as I hit my green light, she doesn't even look. She just bolts straight into the woods. The last 3 times that I've had her, as soon as the green light comes on, it's like she could be there just feeding or whatever, and it's just instantly when that green light comes on, she doesn't even look or hesitate. She just
she's gone.
Gone.
She saw that light.
So they see something.
God was coming for her. She's like, I'm not done here yet.
Yeah, they see something. They probably see the shadowings, because it's
right.
Right. Yeah. But,
that's cool. So I want to talk about the night vision, and I've got a visual aid for us tonight to look at. So this is an ATN X-Sight 4K Pro, the 5x20 or something like that, I think is what it is, 5x25 magnification. It's got the ATN IR illuminator right here. It's a pretty good little light. If I turn it on, you might be able to just catch a little glimpse of it in there. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just a little red light that shows up in there. Maybe it's dead. It's dead. But this This little setup's pretty cool. So this is what I'll just call digital night vision, because basically what we have right here is there's a CPU in here, and there's a screen that you're looking at. It's got these controls, and you can change these settings. Mine's got the additional shroud on the end of it to block out light, and then it's got the extended eye relief right here. What I like about the night vision, or specifically this scope actually has a record feature, and it will broadcast to my cell phone. So if you're sitting with me and I'm hunting, I can actually turn it on. It pairs up with this thing. It's already connected to it, which I think is a really cool feature. But I can show the video, so you can be watching my hunt live, and you can be like, I can be describing, say there's 6 or 7 pigs out there. I'll be like, I'm going to get the third one from the left. You'll be looking at it on the screen. You'll know exactly which one I'm about to shoot. So it's really cool. It also records that kill, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, what I will tell you that I don't like about the digital night vision is when there's, say, a half or 3/4 moon, a native night vision, you'll get enough light to really be able to use it without turning on your IR illuminator. So it makes it good because the pigs will see this little red light when it comes on. Now, it's the same light that we use on our game cameras, so they can become used to it. The thing that I always tell people that are using a gun that has night vision on it, it has an IR illuminator, is always point your gun up if you have to turn on your IR illuminator. So when you turn it on, it doesn't like hit them right in the eyes. It doesn't shock them. So you turn it on, it's up in the trees, and then you can bring the gun down kind of high on their back, and you can kind of see them. You can see how many there are. So you scan above them with the light, and it doesn't catch their eyes so much because it's not hitting. When you've seen it, I think you used my night vision last year, but when that IR hits their lights, they usually get red or green or something. They glow. I mean, they're super bright. But that's why I like to keep that gun pointed above them, kind of right above their backs. I don't bring the crosshairs down on them until I'm ready to shoot them, because they'll, more times than not, when they see that IR, sometimes they'll just take 30 steps and then come right back over and keep eating. But sometimes they bolt, like what you were describing with the green light. They've been shot at with that IR illuminator, so they know what's going on with that. Let me show you one other visual I got here. I've got an actual gun, and this one has got analog night vision on it. You see it's got a couple other accessories on it, but this analog, you'll notice this is in front of, this is the night vision scope right here. This is in front of my Vortex scope right here. So I've got this Vortex traditional scope on here. Also, I don't know if you can see, but this thing's got a big cap on it right now. So that cap, and there's a switch that turns the power on. It runs on like one of them CR123s or whatever batteries. It's a pretty good little size battery, but it works great. But I can go out in the daytime with this scope, turn on the vision, keep this cap on because it'll protect the lens and the intelligence in here. Keep this cover on, turn on that little thing, and there's a pinhole, super microscopic hole in this thing, and I can actually shoot it in daylight.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, you knew I was getting to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's super cool like that. And then obviously if I'm night hunting, I would turn it on, I'd pull the cover up, and it's attached to it, so it just flips up on top. It's got a really nice case. It's really cool. But this thing, like I was saying, compared to the digital night vision, this is also an ATN. This is a PS22. I think this is their Gen 2 version of their analog or traditional. It's almost like mill grade night vision. But this is a newer one. Our friend Legend has got the PS28, which is like, I think the Gen 3 version of this, maybe Gen 2, maybe this is Gen 1, that one's Gen 2. But the PS28 is the newer generation, and Legend's got that, and he's got it on his gun. You'll also notice, so I've got on this gun, I've got a traditional flashlight. That's a PowerTac light. That's another brand we like right there. And then right here, the big thing, you see it? There's the IR. So that one's not dead. So that's an ATN Supernova 850 IR illuminator. This one's got like a range of like 800 meters on it. So
I was gonna say that thing looks like it would light it up down there.
Yeah, and so you saw how bright it was. I mean, that's pretty bright. Imagine that hits you in the middle of the night. That red purple light. So it is detectable. And when those pigs see that light, that's what I'm saying. You always keep that gun above that animal before until you're ready to shoot. You know what's out there. You know what you're trying to get at. Oh, and this gun also. This is what did I name this one? I forget what I named this one. Oh gosh, feel bad. I named them all.
What is that one?
What's that?
What caliber is that?
It's a 5.56. It's another AR-15, but you'll notice this little red sticker right here. This is the one that's got the binary trigger on it. So this is the one where when you pull it, it shoots. When you let go, it shoots. So this one, and I put the binary on this one specifically because it's night vision, and much like the green light, you typically only get one shot. That IR light will reflect off the palmetto bushes and the trees and stuff. And so unless you hunt a field, it's going to be hard to get them back in the thing. So I put the binary on here so I can double tap them. So I can pull, kill, pull, shoot, and release, shoot. And that'll give me hopefully an extra round, extra hole in them. You know how hard and difficult these things are to bring down at times if you don't follow my golden rule, shoot them in the head. Yeah. And then lastly, you'll recognize this sweet little girl. This is Bloody Mary. Yeah. This is an ATN Thor LT 3x6. This is your entry level thermal scope. It's about $1,200-$1,300. But it is, you see, it's got almost the same form factor as the night vision does. Yep. Make sure I got this thing on safe. It looks like I got it loaded. But it does not have the recording or the wireless Bluetooth capability that the other scope does. So it's about the same size, probably about the same weight, just about the same length. It's got the same eye relief piece on it. I love these eye relief pieces. They're super comfortable. Yeah. And they block out all the other light. The Thor LT 3x6, this is the entry level one. I actually have the full Thor 4, which is the one that has the recording and all that stuff. But this thing is just your basic thermal, and like for what we use it for, we've got, Doug has got he's got the Pulsar Thermion X something 50, and then Willie's got a bunch of Pulsars, and he loves those, and they're not bad. I mean, I don't knock them. I bought these because they were in my price point. And they had thermal, and for the range that I'm shooting, these are a huge value. Yeah. Give me 1 second. My daughter's calling in, and I forgot to put my phone on silent. No, you're good. You're good. It happens. And then I would just say, like I said, you've looked through this thing, you've hunted with it, you understand the differences now between the green light, the night vision, and thermal. Oh yeah. I would tell anybody as you evaluate these, like specifically where we hunt, we're not super long range. Most everything's sub 100 yards. And this actual thermal scope works really kind of great in that range. You can see animals, you can identify them. I want to point out a couple other things on these. All of these ATNs, they have a downrange focus on the end of the scope. So the scope that focuses on your animals, your game. And then they also have a reticle focus, so you get your reticle just right. So it's not blurry or whatever. So I'm half blind, so I have to turn that magnification really high on my reticle. Yeah. But you and I both know this, man. The thermal just gives you more shots, right? If the animals are out there, they just stand out. It's like a video.
Absolutely, it does. And I would say by far the advantage to the thermal is, when you're sitting in the dark, you can hear a pig coming, but you're not going to turn on your green light or you're not going to get your night vision up and ready when they're messing around, 50, 60 yards in the woods. You can just pop your thermal over there and see them. Yeah. You're not gonna take a shot over there, but you could see where they are. You can see how many are coming. It's, it's a game changer if you're wanting to go out there and be like, if you have a serious pig problem and you're just wanting to, to knock down the numbers, you're going to knock plenty more down with that thermal, as opposed to a green light. Green light, I'm going to shoot 1 or 2 at a time,
Right.
Whereas you get that thermal and you can hit them coming and going.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, my advice would be to anybody is just to review all 3 options and kind of understand what they mean to you and where you're hunting.
Yeah.
And then, if you have the ability to save up, say the $1,300 or whatever, whatever version you want to get. If you want to get the full Thor, that one's about $2,000. If you want to get a Pulsar Thermion, you're looking at $3,000 to $5,000 or even more dollars. Depending on if you have unlimited resource, you could spend a ton of money. But my advice would be to anybody is I would get a thermal. If you can wait, if you have a buddy that has a gun you can borrow in the interim until you save up and get you a thermal, I think the thermal is just the coolest thing.
Yeah, I think it's situational too. Like if you're just gonna go on a one hog hunt once a year,
right.
I mean, I would say that you don't need the thermal. You'll be very successful with either of the other 2. But
I forgot to mention this joker right here, the X-Sight Pro by ATN. It's like $700 for the high end version, $730, $750, something like that. I don't know. I think I got mine off of Amazon. But this scope, you can record the kill. So you take somebody out in a first time hunt, you get that kill recorded. It's also great for tracking, both the night vision and the thermal. You can get the recorded shot, so if you actually hit it, which is always awesome. But then the thermal, and you've seen this firsthand, when that game goes down in the woods, you just need something to show you a little bit of light where it's at, and it'll even track the blood on the ground.
That's right.
It don't bleed a lot, and it's always hard to find it. Man, it can be a game changer if you have those little dots going through the ground showing you where the animal's at.
And the other thing about the thermal is, pigs, their habits are that, let's say you have 5 or 6 or 10 come in and you shoot, they're going to scatter, but they almost always stop 30 to 40 yards away and look back.
Right.
For whatever reason, I don't know why they do it, but they run. They don't. I think it's because they don't like to run long distances, without checking what's ahead of them, because they rely on their nose so much. So they bolt out and then they stop, and that's where your thermal's going to get a 2nd, 3rd, 4th shot. Yeah. Because you can, with my green light, when they hit the woods, when they hit the wood line, they're gone.
Yeah.
Whereas with that thermal,
you're not going to be able to see through those trees because your green light's going to kind of reflect.
It's reflecting
behind it. Yeah, I agree, man. That's why, I'm just a big believer. I still love shooting the others, though. That's the thing. Like people have said, "Hey, let me some of your X-Sight." I'm like, I don't want to get rid of that. I love that thing, man.
Yeah, we've got a club member who is getting into the night vision goggles because he wants to literally spot and stalk at night.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting too.
Well, it is. He's got the PVS 14, I believe. I think that's what you're talking about. That's the night vision that goes on the helmet.
I don't know if he had purchased it yet, but I know he was in the.
Yeah. Oh, he did. He did. He texted me the whole time about when he went out there, telling me how cool it was. Now I use. I've got a loopholed handheld monocular thermal device that you grab this gun, and this gun's not that heavy. You've held it many times. But this gun's not that heavy, but you got in a stand for 5 or 6 hours. It's kind of annoying to have to pick this thing up to look through it, look down range and see where something's at.
Yeah.
So a couple things. One is this particular gun has a quick detach scope mount on it. So I can pull this thing off. I just remember where it's positioned, and then I put it back on. I've never had it lose zero. So I'll take this thing off sometimes and use this as an optic to walk in or to scout for animals without having to pick up the whole big gun. Now, I won't take this off the gun if I'm in the stand because I'll have my binocular with me, or I'll just move it around. I just I mean, I can't. I only time I remove the scope is if I'm going to let somebody else use it for sighting animals.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man. Green lights, night vision, thermal. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong if you never hunted at night. I mean, that's like the coolest thing I've ever done. I mean, when you met me, I talked a lot about deer hunting, not so much about pig hunting. Love turkey hunting. I love hunting everything.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like consumed with the pig. I mean, like I can't get enough of hunting the pig. That's why we're coming down this weekend.
Yeah. And yeah, like I never hunted at night until I moved up here either. I mean, I've hunted a lot of pigs, and I'm gonna record some of that because I'm gonna go out there and do some spot and stalk in the daytime, and you know, because a lot of people think when they're pressured they go nocturnal, and that's the only time you can hunt them, and that's the truth about they do go nocturnal.
Yeah.
But you can definitely find out where their wallers are. You can find out they got to get into the mud, and they've got to get stuff on their skin because they get burnt, especially in the South. You know, they're getting a lot of sun, so they got to get covered up. They cover up for the insects.
Yeah.
And so you can get in the woods and in the daytime and see plenty of hogs. So, you know, since we're talking about optics and all that, just didn't want everybody to think that we can go into our club and kill pigs anytime, day or night.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Your success rate's going up at night, which is why we use the night vision stuff.
Yeah, and another thing, and I don't know if we've talked about this on any of the other episodes, but another thing we do is we play the tides because we're right down on the coast, and we got the mark in the water, and so our pigs, that's why they're so good and delicious to eat, is they eat crabs when the tide's out. So they'll chase the crabs out. They'll go out into the marsh area, eat on crabs until the tide pushes them back in. When that tide pushes them back in, that's usually about the time we get them down by back trail and down by the swamp and the marsh areas.
That's right. And I'm still trying to. I'm not sold on the times that we think. I think they stage themselves and set up to go out with the tide as opposed to coming in with it.
Yeah. Because I don't think it's an exact science by any stretch, because we've had them definitely up in there in low tide times too. But it's fun to kind of look at it and go, oh, they should be coming any minute. You know, I like to send the tide screenshot from the Bear River late A.
Yeah. So but I think as the tides are going out, that's when they're nailing the seafood, because they're catching it right on that edge, you know. So yeah. That's my theory. I'm no expert, but
yeah. Well, cool. Anything else before we wrap? I think we pretty much covered the scopes, man. Everybody needs to test them, but we've got our 2 cents. I mean, we think thermal's probably the best, but it's probably the most cost prohibitive. Green lights, slap them on any gun. Night vision's kind of that middle of the road. You get the right ones, you can record your hunts. You can play them on an iPhone. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Only other. I want to say one other thing about the green light that I've noticed is you can switch that green light from scope to scope. And if you have a really high quality scope, you can get another 40, 50 yards out of that green light easily.
Yeah.
So some of these high end, deer scopes that people use for deer hunting, you put that green light on there and you're going to see better than somebody who says they has a $45 to $100 scope that just came with their gun, or they bought, just to put one on. You're not going to get nearly the clear view in the distance,
right?
That you would, with a higher end optic. So.
All right. Well, cool. I think that's great information. Hopefully people enjoy the content and what we have success with. And if you want to be a pig hunter on a budget, green lights, they work. Night vision, that works. And there's even an entry point on the thermals, Yeah. You never know when your buddies are going to upgrade too. You might be able to buy one from them that's a really good scope. That's a Gen 1.
Yeah. the thorn in my side now is my son. He's not gonna. He's I like the challenge, so I've always prided myself on doing it the lowest. I've never gone out there and I haven't spent a lot of money on high-end rifles and stuff until my son comes around. Now he's a high roller. He wants it all.
You got that rich blood in him.
Yeah, he wants it all, and so
that's awesome. Mountain child. That boy loves to hunt with a thermal.
We're gonna get a thermal eventually. So, but
cool. All right, man. Well, until next week, we should be live next week, and we'll probably do naming your hogs. I haven't heard back from Doug or Troy from God and Guns yet about when they want to come on the show, but we'll make it happen. I thought Troy might come down this weekend, but he's not going to be able to make it. But we'll do naming your hogs next week, and we'll get some pictures of these hogs up, have us a little PowerPoint presentation, let everybody watch that. I think it'll be good stuff.
Yeah, cool.
All right, man. Well, you have a great week, and I'll see you on Friday.
All right, buddy.
All right, man.
I'm excited.
You too, man. I'll see you.
All right, buddy. Later.